How to calculate takt time for multiple products. We cover takt time quite a bit on this channel, and I really want to help out quite a bit. And so I'm going to give you some advice based on the questions that we're getting. So we have covered these videos before, but this is specifically in response to the questions that are being asked now. So I do want to say that there's two different types of takt planning in construction. And by the way, we can link you to any of the other videos on this channel that cover takt planning, and they'll cover, the difference between takt time and cycle time, how to calculate takt time, the concept of takt time, and the whole nine. But I'm going to specifically address the questions today. But I want to make a point. The first point I want to make is that there is something called takt time based takt planning, and then there's resource based takt planning. Now let me make a point. In car manufacturing plants, in manufacturing lines, in line assembly plants, you'll have stations where you'll have tools, resources, equipment, people. And the product is flowing from station to station on a takt time. Manufacturing and construction are pretty similar, but instead of the product flowing, the product is fixed. So the trades are flowing, and whatever they're doing, that's what happens in that zone. Then they move to another zone, then they move to another zone. So the flow unit in construction, this is a much debated topic, but it is the train of trades, because flow means moving, and the trades are moving, and that's what needs to flow, and nothing flows on the job site unless the trades are flowing. So you could say, well, the work flowing within the zone is the flow unit. No, it's not, because the work happening in the zone only happens if the trade can flow to it. So one is dependent on the other. The flow unit in construction is the train of trades, and the building becomes the grow unit, as Nicholas Modig points out. And so takt time is the rhythm at which the trades move from zone to zone to zone. Here are some questions. Let me start out with the takt time based versus resource based. Let me give you two examples. Let's say that your production plan needs to be on a 3-day takt time. That means 3 days is your first grouping, another 3 days, which basically means one zone, the trade is there, spends 3 days, goes to another zone in the next 3 days, the next 3 days, the next 3 days. But let's say that you have a bunch of activities that only take 1 day, then an activity that takes 2 days, then everything's pretty much on a 3-day takt time. Well, if you're going to be doing a takt time based takt planning system, then you will combine the 3 individual 1-day activities into a 3-day takt wagon. And then for the 2-day duration activity, you're going to crew them down so their activity extends into 3 days. Now you have a grouping for the first 3-day takt time and wagon. The second crew, which was originally 2 days, is now 3 because it has lower crew counts, is now in a 3-day takt time in a 3-day takt wagon, and then it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That is takt time based takt planning, where you primarily adjust crew composition to fit the takt time. I've drawn this all before, but I'm now explaining it verbally so that the verbal learners, the audible learners, appreciate it as well. You can go into a resource-based takt planning scenario where you're like, no, those first 3 1-day activities can just go on a 1-day takt time at a steeper incline. And then the 2-day activity can just go on a 2-day takt time. A little bit less steep, but it's not on the 3-day. Then when all the 3-day activities happen, then it's on its own 3-day takt time. So the lines of balance would look steep, less steep, less steep. So 1, 2, 3. If they're not all on a consistent single takt time, then that means you have 3 trains with 3 separate takt times. And that's called resource-based takt planning or multi-train takt planning. So let me use that as a basis to answer the questions right now. Let's do this. How do I calculate a meaningful takt time when no 2 products, or say in this case crew activities, are the same? The answer is just what I told you. You can either adjust the crews and fit them into the takt time, or you can break them out into a separate train and have 2 separate trains with 2 separate takt times. Now that is fine. Let me tell you the rules. If you have separate trains and separate takt times, all you do is you make sure that you optimize your slowest train first. Any little activities near the train magnetize to the trains. Like I said before, if you have different lines of balance, you pull those as close together as you can, and then you manage the intersections to where everything flows well, and you'll be fine. So that is the answer. What do I do if some activities take twice as long as others? I love this. You can either get 2 separate pre-planned, onboarded, and trained crews early on, or you can split that crew in half and put them in succession. Like for instance, watch my hand, and I've drawn this before, so I'm just doing this a number of different ways. This big long duration can only start way over here, finish to start, but if you break it into two, then it can work behind each other in a smaller takt time. So breaking the crew in half or getting an additional resource is how you handle an activity that is longer than the others. Sometimes, and this happens with most interiors, the mechanical needs multiple wagons broken up into smaller crews that work in succession behind each other. That's the answer. Can I use takt planning in a field like residential where every home is different? The answer is yes. All you have to do is do a work density analysis on the floor plans. And a house might be 1 zone or 2 zones or 4 zones, but it's not going to be many zones, right? And the key is, even if it has different material types, every house has ceilings, every house has walls, every house has finishes, every house has floors. So you're not takting the materials, you're takting the process. And all you have to do is create zones the right size per what the house is, with an equal amount of work as your trades flow through it. And you can create a takt plan through a house or through multiple homes and have a nice rhythm. The answer is yes. How do I keep my crews productive when different areas are different? The answer is, well, here's why it hasn't worked in the past, because everybody's like 10,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet. Well, you go to this zone, it's different, it takes longer. Go to that zone, it takes less time. Go to that zone, it's impossible. You don't create zones based on area. You should never have equal, equal, equal unless accidentally you do on like a multifamily project. What you need to do is look at work density and say, oh, this work 8,000 square foot, this might be 12, this might be 4,000, but they're created not based on area, but by work density. So the amount of work that's in this zone is 3 days, then it's 3 days, then it's 3 days. What adjusts is not the work that you perform, it's not the takt time, it's not the flow, it's the zone boundary size. And then you can basically flow anybody through any type of building. Takt planning works with residential complexes, multifamily, data centers, schools, hospitals, airports, laboratories, anything. We do all kinds of chopped up work. All you have to do is size the zones properly. And last question, is there an easy way to show this so that my crews get it quickly? The answer is yes. And we'll link you to a video on how to read a takt plan. I think you'll love it. As long as they get used to the time by location format and say, this is your color, they'll see, oh, I'm flowing from this zone to this zone to this zone. And all they have to do is now see the associated zone maps in the different sizes, and they'll be like, oh, I get it. And all they have to do is prepare for every zone. And there's a concept called swarming, and that happens where maybe you go through zone 1, 2, 3, 4. There's times where zone 7 for just the electrician is going to be more work. So you can either add labor from swing capacity or plan on it ahead of time or get some additional help or. There are times where you need to add a little bit of extra help here and there in the takt plan, but as long as they can see it in the production plan, they can plan for it, and trades always do well with this. So I hope this answers some questions and really addresses the topic. We haven't covered this in a while, and this is specifically what people are asking about for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll put this into a blog post for you and invite you to read the book Takt Planning and Takt Steering and Control, and to watch the videos that I put in the description below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.